This is the Swarm and Shoot football show with me, Manny Matsakis, the head football coach at Defiance College. We feature Defiance College football and everything that influences our program. This show is brought to you by our friends at Big B Coffee right across campus on North Clinton Street. I'm actually having a cup right now, so everybody check it out on YouTube, and you can see the video of the cup and how delicious this beverage is. Get the finest coffee beverages, even tea, in Defiance, as well as great pastries, breakfast sandwiches to start your day off, and you can even get a pick-me-up like a lot of our coaching staff does in the afternoon. I'd also like to bring on board the maker of this fine apparel right here, and not just Nike, but we're talking about BSN Sports, all right? I'd like to bring on board our latest sponsor, BSN Sports, and Rob Held and his sales team are the professionals you need to get in touch with for all your sporting goods and apparel needs in Ohio. Not only do they work with high school and college sports teams, they also deliver outstanding apparel to businesses so they can brand themselves in a first-class manner. This is episode 47 of the Swarm and Shoot football show. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take it some time and talk about our offensive line. Last week, we released some things on Twitter of each of the offensive linemen that have deposited and are set to come here. There'll be some more to come, but we're doing them by group at this point. And I have with me our recruiting coordinator and our offensive line coach, Chris Shank. How's it going, Chris?
Oh, it's great. How about yourself?
Oh, doing fantastic. Just wanted to give our fans out there and some insight on the offensive line position as far as from a personnel standpoint. What do we have returning? I know we didn't have a real spring ball, but as far as returners coming back, can you give us some insight on these guys and what you're expecting from them?
Yeah, we have 3 guys coming back right now. 2 of them were freshmen last year. Both started all 10 games. Our left tackle started the last half of the season, Dominic Vannon. He'll be a junior this upcoming year. He's returning as well. So, we don't have a lot of guys coming back, but we have guys that have a significant amount of experience from the previous season, and they're all guys that, I get a question all the time about like what, as far as like size and strength and stuff, like what I look for. I was like, well, coachability is a big factor for me, just being able to communicate with those guys and those guys listening and trusting the information that I pass on to them. And those 3, I haven't had a problem with them in over a year so far. And I think, through the spring and through everything that we've gone through, they've been eager to learn. They've, even when we were in the weight room, before,
that's interesting. As you say that, you talk about each of these guys in the weight room, what they were able to do because we had them in there till spring break.
Right.
And so what are some, off the top of your head, some improvements of each of these guys that they made? What did you notice?
I mean, a couple of them just, they're a little stiff, so their mobility and their flexibility improved drastically in the way,
Yeah, I noticed Tavon did a good job in that area.
Yep. And when they just, some of the lifts that we do, when they just improve their form and their technique and get that flexibility, their numbers, start to shoot up there. And that, they were starting to, and then all of a sudden, the situation that we're currently in.
Sure. And I know you've been staying up with these guys, and, they got to be training because, offensive line is pretty much the key to any championship team. So it's how those guys develop. Isaiah, I thought, made some, he had some injuries early that he took from the off season, but he did improve, and you can see that. So hopefully he's having a good off season or, preseason, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah. I mean, Isaiah's a tough kid. I mean, his knees, he had a foot issue, and he had his hand/fingers. It was like something new every week. But he fought through it, and he missed couple plays here and there, but that was about it.
Yeah, no, he's tough. Yeah, no question. I know Kevin Tong there's times where Kevin was trying to keep him out, and he kept saying, no, I'm going back in. We're going to keep playing. And so it was more pain than injury, or Kevin would have had to keep him out. So, so I can see those three guys right now. Where do you see each of them playing starting training camp? What position are you looking at?
Well, I'll keep them, two of the three, I'm going to keep them in the same position they finished the year in. Then if, throughout the course of the season or to camp, if I need to move some, or if we feel that it's, best for the program to move them, then, we'll do that. But Dom finished the year at left tackle, so we'll keep him there to start. Isaiah was at right guard, so keep him there, start all 10 games there. And then Tavon's the one that we've talked about possibly moving him. He started 10 games at right tackle. Now he's got some athleticism, and he sees the need that we have at center, so he asked if he could play center.
Sure.
Try that out. So we, probably give that a shot going into training camp, knowing that he has the ability to play right tackle. We got to obviously work and improve on some things with him and the other two as well. But that's where I see those three guys starting out at.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, you look at it. I mean, you've got Dominic Fannin coming back, who started a bunch of games his freshman year, and then we had Chris Keys in there last year and then we made the move and took Chris back to defense, so that opened up that left tackle position for him. But between those three, I mean, you've got over 30 college starts. And you got 2 sophomores and a junior in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, to have that kind of experience. Now, let's talk about the new guys we got coming in, because by rule, we cannot talk about, we can't mention a guy's name specifically. Obviously, anybody can see who the deposited guys are that are set to come in at this point just by following at DCFB, our football Twitter account. We put those out there, and we even put them out on Instagram too. But give me overall, because I watch the video of these guys, and I see some size initially. Now, we've got some different types of size, some taller guys, some guys that are slightly a little less big. But what do you got big boys coming in? Because a lot of the big boys are obviously we like to put them at guard, and if we can, or move them around. But
well, I mean, it'll look a little bit different, because I mean, right now we have 13 offensive linemen that have deposited right now. So, being able to start with 16 as opposed to 6 last year, start the season off, that we can have actual individual and actual different, walkthroughs and stuff like that. So that's exciting. And then when you start looking at just the body types of guys that we have, it does range from all over. And, we have, young man who's, 6'5", 370 pounds, played guard, played center. We got a young man who's 6'4", 325, 6'4", 315, 6'4", 270. So we got some guys, and the thing with those guys is they're big, but they can still move. Most of those guys played tackle, except for the first one I mentioned. He played guard, played center, so that's good. But those other guys, they're longer, they're rangier, they can move, and it'd be nice.
Yeah, it does help.
Some size.
No question. And then now you've got some other guys that might not be quite as tall, but they're pretty athletic.
Yeah.
And they sort of fit the mold of maybe Tavon.
Yeah.
Somebody like that.
Well, there's a few guys, because I want to say, I mean, we have in the offensive line room, next meeting rooms, I think we'll have about 7 or 8 different states represented, but a lot of them are going to be from the state of Georgia. And, we got some guys that aren't tall. They're right there at the 5'9", 5'10" thing, but they are athletic. They have a little bit of nastiness to them, and they're going to get after it. And, the funny thing with, when we posted all those videos, and Coach Warehand did those videos last week, and, my dad being an offensive line coach for 32 years in college, he called me every day after all 4 of them showed just to tell me what he thought of them. So he liked what he saw. So I guess that's all that matters.
Good. Well, I'm working on a guest coach gig for Larry Shank, so we'll see if we can get him up here. Yeah, there's no question. I see what your dad saw. As we get so caught up in the recruiting process, And right now it's so exciting to see these guys get it. We post their information. We see what they're about. Some of the guys that might not be as tall are like, they are very athletic, and you're right. They finish blocks. They have a ton of potential with this group coming in. Would you not say?
Yeah, I'm excited about that, to have the guy. I mean, the 3 returners coming, because I think they're gonna be a great influence on right now the 13. Maybe a few more coming in as well later on. But I think they're going to be a great influence on the 13 guys coming in, or whoever comes in. And then, I think it's going to be a really good group, because there's talent. There's guys that want to learn, want to be coached, and it'll be a good situation.
Well, I know, just from my perspective, I always, I think about the offensive line. That's probably the most, no disrespect to any other group on the team, but that's the one meeting room that I personally enjoy the most. They're the kind of guys that just, they're team guys. It's not one of those things. There's no prima donnas in there, and if they are, it changes in an instant.
Yeah, if there's a prima donna in the offensive line room, they're kind of an outlier, and they're kind of, the rest of the guys, you can pick up on it pretty quick that the rest of the guys don't quite gel with them.
Well, and I will say this, in closing, it's exciting. The recruiting class as a whole coming in. This is the first of a series of pieces where we'll have a different coach in here, talk about the guys we currently have and who's going to join them based on deposits, as far as the type of people that are out there, type of players out there. We're not done in recruiting. We're still reeling them in, but we are significantly ahead of pace where we were a year ago, would you not say?
We are. Last year, at this time, we had 38 deposits as a football program, and then this morning we had, for this year, we have 53. So wow. So percent increase. It's about it's close to 40%.
40% increase, and the quality of these guys is tremendous. I have to commend you, and our assistant coaches have done a heck of a job on bringing the right kind of guys in. The virtual visit has been big as we're working forward on our 2021s. Yeah, because that's a class that will contribute to a championship here at Defiance College.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. So there we go. So thanks again, and we'll be back next week with another coach, and we'll feature another group on the team. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode of the Swarm and Shoot Football Show. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure to subscribe in iTunes, give us a rating, comment on the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell in the top corner there so you can get notifications when we release the next show. Feel free to comment below on a specific show, and we'll answer those questions as we need to. If you'd like to step up to the next level and get all kinds of updates, go to our website, swarmandshoot.com, where you'll get up-to-date alerts on all of our podcasts. You'll have the audio on there. There's actually a video player where you can scroll through each and every episode that we have of the podcast from the YouTube version. So you never really have to leave the site. You'll also see some features on various players, our coaching staff bios, all types of things going on in our program, when our golf scramble is, different fundraisers we do, just insights for you that take you to that next level, which is what swarmandshoot.com will do for you. Take a minute and subscribe with your email. When you log on, there'll actually probably be a pop-up about 6 seconds into it, and it gives you a chance to go in, and that will put you into our email database. So every time we update, you get an email knowing that we're basically set to go on the next episode of the podcast or any news that's coming out. Appreciate you supporting the program, and look forward to a wonderful season.